to Pakistan and friends of Pakistan. Shouldn't we take a stronger action against all of them? Because if we speak, it's about democracy and freedom of speech. But the more silent we are, the more this propaganda is increasing.
Absolutely.
So I feel it's nation first, no compromise.
So we have a voice here, Shruti. We'll all be together in this. I thank you all very much. I thank you, Deepak Vora Saab. I thank you all. Ladies and gentlemen, ban Turkey or boycott Turkey, but do not stay equidistant. There is no equidistance in times of war. There is no neutrality in times of war. And there is no fake objectivity in times of war. I'll see you tomorrow, without doubt. Good night and goodbye.
Time for a quick breather. Arnab will be right back with the debate.
दादी के हाथों का जादू और खुशबू से महकता घर, माँ की मुस्कुराहट और खाने की सुगंध। MDH गरम मसाला,
क्योंकि हर रिश्ता है स्वाद से जुड़ा।
अब छोलिया हो या लोबिया, सफेद चने या काले चने,
सब कुछ मजेदार बने।
MDH।
From the Republic Media Network headquarters, it's time for Arnab Goswami on the debate. Arnab Goswami on the debate.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back in time now for the nation's sharpest opinion. And tonight I'm calling for a ban on Turkey. A ban on Turkey. All of us, unitedly. The government will do what it has to do, but you and I don't have to wait for the government to take its decision. The government will take into account all the geopolitical, economic considerations that they have to do, and that may take some time. But that doesn't mean that we, on our own, cannot get together and ban Turkey, because much is in our hands. You see, Turkey has sent its people to fight with Pakistan. It is now confirmed news, and we'll get a confirmation later in the program tonight, that there are Turkish nationals who have been killed while trying to fly drones. These are Turkish-trained, Turkish-born, Turkish citizens sent by Erdogan to Pakistan to fight India. This means that Turkey has got into an armed conflict with India, and Turkey therefore is also effectively in a state of war with India. And Turkey is a country which needs to be banned. We need to make them pay, and I'll tell you exactly how you can make them pay. But let me tell you a few things about Erdogan first of all. He's a delusional madman, and he sees himself as having some great global role. He postures as a custodian of all Islamic nations, but he presides over an economy which is teetering on the edge of collapse. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, his currency is in free fall. He has no money. His foreign reserves are depleted. He has a very, very, very fragile banking system. They have lost 461% of their value since 2020. At the slightest tremor, his ambitions ring hollow. So it's very easy for us to hit Erdogan, and we should. We should harm Erdogan's interests. We should harm the economic interests of Turkey. And let me tell you about their economic situation. Their lira is in free fall, as I told you. They have lost 461% since 2020. Back then, the exchange rate stood at 6.9 lira per US dollar. Today, it is 38.73 lira per US dollar, which means Turkey is a place which is very cheap to go to. Of course, as Indian tourists, you can go there and you can get a lot and you can get cheap holidays. But I want to ask you tonight, what's more important for you, a cheap holiday or national interest? Ladies and gentlemen, Turkey's gross reserves are 85 billion. Net reserves are near zero or negative. They have about 20 billion, which is actually available, which means in terms of reserves, Turkey is just a little bit better than Pakistan. So this is a case of the blind leading the blind. It's about as bad as Pakistan. Their economic system is so fragile. 5% of their depositors pulled out 22 billion. If that happens, half their reserves go. And ladies and gentlemen, they are so small as an economy, and we have a big leverage over them. Now, you will ask me, what can we do with a country that has joined hands with Pakistan? Therefore, it's an enemy nation. Right? Enemy's friend is our enemy. Indians contribute 3,000 crore to the Turkish economy. In 2024 alone, 2.75 lakh Indian tourists went to Turkey. We spent 3,000 crore to 4,000 crore, ladies and gentlemen, through flights, hotels, shopping, food, guided tours, and destination weddings. We should stop all that. If you know someone who's traveling to Turkey, tell them not to go. If you know someone who's organizing a cheap destination wedding, ask them whether they are willing to forget the sacrifice of the Indian army when they go for their cheap destination wedding to Turkey. If you're buying Turkish food, if you're staying in a Turkish hotel, if you're sponsoring Turkish flights, from now on, you are working against national interest unless we get Erdogan to rub his nose on the ground. Ladies and gentlemen, we are also doing a lot of imports from Turkey. We need to stop eating Turkish apples. We import 160,000 tons of Turkish apples. Next time you go to buy apples, ask anyone selling it to you, is that a Turkish apple? And if it's available, then do not buy it. Ladies and gentlemen, 2.84 billion worth of goods from Turkey between April 24 and February 25, which means together, if you put all of this together, ladies and gentlemen, if we are going to put all of this together, we can significantly hurt the weak Turkish economy. And now I want to say something about Amir Khan. Amir Khan says he knows nothing about politics. He doesn't like meeting politicians. He's a non-political kind of guy. But then Amir Khan, why have you been going all out to support Erdogan? Now don't say after this picture is out that I don't support Erdogan. No, Amir, did you get a subsidy from Erdogan in 2020? When you were shooting Lal Singh Chadda? Is it true that you shot Lal Singh Chadda in Turkey? And when you did that, did you have any economic interests or concessions or help from the Turkish? And there you are, Amir Khan, meeting the Turkish First Lady, Emin Erdogan, during Lal Singh Chadda's shooting, right? Now remember, when you were doing that, Amir, when you were doing that, obviously you knew that this country is against Bharat. Why did you still do that? Why do you pretend, Amir, to be non-political when the fact is that when it comes to taking sides with countries which are against national interest, you're willing to go all out as long as it helps you? Now, Lal Singh Chadda was a flop, and I think one of the reasons it was a flop is because you shot it in Turkey, if that is the case. But I want to know that while you are in India, you say you feel alarmed by the state of India. You suggest that you and your then wife even thought of leaving India. So situations like this, you make these, political statements. When it comes to having tea, dinner, taking pictures with Erdogan, you're very happy. Look at that picture again. It's almost like he's taking a statesman meeting a statesman kind of situation. Show that picture again. And my question is not just about Bollywood and Amir Khan alone. The fact is that personally, I'm extremely angry at the non-committal attitude of Bollywood during this war. I'm told that Salman Khan put out a tweet saying, thank God for the ceasefire. Did he say anything before that? Ladies and gentlemen, when these Bollywood people fly hundreds of dancers from Turkey or to Turkey to shoot songs, to shoot their films, when they romanticize Turkey, when big budget films like Tiger 3, Ajab Prem Ki Gazab Kahani, Race 2, blah, 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 and Lal Singh Chadda shot in Turkey. Do these Bollywood people ever think that if they invest such large amounts of money in Turkey, then it could add to the Turkish economy? And do they find out about how anti-India Turkey is, and therefore industry with Turkey? And even if that is Bollywood, in my view, at least now, should stop supporting Turkey. All movies which are being shot in Turkey, planned in Turkey, or have sequences in Turkey should either wrap up operations or declare it to the Indian people. So that if you continue, I want all movies to declare they do not have a Turkey element. It's like shooting a movie in Pakistan. Would you watch a movie that was shot in Rawalpindi or Lahore or Karachi? Would you watch a movie which had Pakistani actors? And therefore, why should you have any such position vis-a-vis Turkey? Ladies and gentlemen, Erdogan is delusional. He's crazy. But we can hurt Turkey. I have nothing against the Turkish people, but I have something very strongly against the Turkish army and their government. And ladies and gentlemen, we therefore, without a doubt, need to ban Turkey. Let's debate.
We will will continue to stand by Pakistan in good times and bad times in future. These were the words of Turkish President just this afternoon when he was replying to a message from his brother Shehbaz Sharif, the Prime Minister of Pakistan. The Turkish hand in the India-Pakistan Operation Sindoor saga is not forgotten.
Drone intrusions were attempted from Leh to Sar Creek at 36 locations with approximately 300 to 400 drones. Indian Armed Forces brought down a number of these drones using kinetic and non-kinetic means. The possible purpose of these large-scale aerial intrusions were to test the AD systems and gather intelligence. Forensic examination of the drone debris is being undertaken. Preliminary reports suggest them to be of Aziz Guard Songa drone of Turkey.
Now, sources are telling Republic that in the counter-strike launched by India against Pakistan, 2 Turkish drone contractors who were aiding Pakistan carried out attacks against India have been killed.
For any Turkey citizen to be getting involved in war actively and assisting the Pakistanis to carry out attack on India, launch those drone swarms is not in keeping with whatever relationship exists between New Delhi and Ankara. I think, as I said, an explanation should be sought. A statement should be coming in fact, from Ankara on why this was allowed to happen, and even perhaps New Delhi can seek an explanation.
There is anger against Turkey's support to Pakistan. The official account of TRT World, Turkey's official mouthpiece, was also withheld earlier today, only to be later unblocked.
Pakistan's all-weather friend. It has always been by Pakistan's side, and at this point in time, Turkey, is with Pakistan, has been with Pakistan, but it is part of a larger agenda of President Erdogan. Erdogan has this, he's the only one who calls the shots in Turkey. And at this point, Erdogan's vision of reviving the days of the Caliphate glory and become the leader of the Islamic world.
Indian tourists were the first to show their anger to Turkey, with bookings down by 60% and cancellations up to 250% in just the last 1 week. Turkey may lose as much as 2,000 crore of revenue from just this one step. But that's not all. Boycotts are being announced from all sectors.
तुर्की और अजरबैजान ने खुलकर के भारत के खिलाफ पाकिस्तान का समर्थन किया है, और कोई देश जो भारत के खिलाफ होगा, भारत के व्यापारी पुरजोर तरीके से उसकी खिलाफत करेंगे। इसीलिए आज हमने आग्रह किया है कि आने वाले समय में न केवल व्यापारी बल्कि देश के लोग तुर्की और अजरबैजान की यात्राओं का बहिष्कार करें।
जो अभी हाल की कंडीशन में भारत और पाकिस्तान में युद्ध हुआ है, उसमें टर्की ने ओपन सपोर्ट पाकिस्तान को किया है, जो हमारे देश के हित में नहीं है। हम उसका पूरा विरोध करते हैं। हम ड्राई फ्रूट की कुछ आइटम टर्की से इंपोर्ट करते थे, जो खसखस है, हेजलनट है, टर्कल है, आलूचा बोलते हैं उसको, कुछ पिस्ता की कुछ क्वालिटीज आती है वहां से, जो आज के डेट में हम पूरा उसका बहिष्कार करते हैं।
Pressure is also mounting for Bollywood to act against Turkey despite all their closeness. The Federation of Western India Cine employees now calling for a complete boycott.
We are all part of this boycott call. Even Western India's WIFPA, another producers body, which also has a lot of producer members there, they also, the secretary called me up, Dharam Mehra and Sangram, and they said that we are all with you. Let the entire industry give this impression, this message across the border and to the entire world, that the film and television industry, the entire industry stands by our country.
Yes,
because for us, also the nation comes first.
Questions are also being raised on the presence of Turkish companies in critical sectors. One such company is Celebi Aviation, a Turkish cargo handling company involved in high security tasks at 8 Indian airports, including Delhi, Mumbai, and Chennai. Calls of expulsion of companies inimical to national interest are also rising. Pressure is also mounting on Indigo Airlines to suspend its long-standing partnership with Turkish Airlines. Meanwhile, Trump on his visit to Saudi Arabia announced that he will lift the sanctions on Syria, a long-standing demand of Turkish president.
I will be ordering the cessation of sanctions against Syria in order to give them a chance at greatness.
India has made its stance clear to the world, including Turkey.
भारत का मत एकदम स्पष्ट है। टेरर और टॉक एक साथ नहीं हो सकते। टेरर और ट्रेड एक साथ नहीं चल सकते और पानी और खून भी एक साथ नहीं बह सकता।
The big question emerges. Has Turkey made a big mistake by placing its bets on Pakistan?
And I personally believe that no one should travel to Turkey in these circumstances. Prashant Pitti, who's with us, is the co-founder of Ease My Trip, very popular, very popular website. Prashant, what's your take? Are you taking Turkish reservations? What's your position? You've always been firm in taking a pro-country line, pro-nation line. What's your position now?
Firstly, Arnab, thank you for having me on your show. Last year, around the same time, I was actually on your show, not with you, when we actually cancelled Maldives. All the flights, all the hotels, holidays were cancelled. And for about 8 to 9 months, we were the only travel portal which cancelled Maldives. Until the time Maldives bent over backwards, apologized to India, their prime minister came to India, they did welcome campaign, and many of their ministers even visited Ease My Trip office. We did not restart Maldives. Now the time has come to stand again with the country. And for that, 6 days ago, as soon as Turkish Prime Minister laid out the tweet that they are going to be standing with the Pakistan, immediately we took a call. On the same day itself, we took a call that we are going to issue a travel advisory to all our users to not to go to Turkey. We did not cancel Turkey this time because Turkey happens to be one of the major layover where people go from Turkey to other European nations or the US, which is why we decided to say to people that if you must travel to Turkey, then only do it. Otherwise, there is no point traveling to Turkey. There are so many other neutral there are so many other neutral countries or pro-India countries where you could travel, like Greece, it could be Armenia, it could be Thailand and others. So we are recommending our people who went to Turkey, we are giving them full refund to come back or go somewhere else. People who want to cancel, we are giving them full refund to cancel. And we are really, really glad that post our, efforts, this ban Turkey, started trending on social media, and a couple of other travel portals this time showed the spine to actually go ahead and also follow the same suite.
So tell me, I think, Prashant, are people still going to Turkey? Because one of the reasons people go to Turkey is because it's cheap. It's a disaster economy. Their lira is really overstretched, so you can get a cheap holiday, you can get a cheap destination wedding, right? So that's...
Absolutely. This is the main reason why people go to Turkey. And I mean, my say to the nation is, what's the point of going for the cheap? Whatever money we are going to give, as you correctly said, around 3,000 to 4,000 crore was spent by Indian traveling to Turkey. Now, this much money, and that too, see, Maldives changed their stance very quickly. I don't think so Turkey will be able to change its stance because it is stemming from the ideology of being Islamic nation, providing them trades with ammunition and other things, which I believe is going to continue for long run. And hence, if you accumulate these 4,000, 5,000 crores over the long period of time, it can actually really mean a lot of money.
So this is an important point he's making out there, Abhishek. Welcome, Deepak Voda. Welcome, Abhishek. Because of the sensitivities involved, Turkey being seen to be a leader of a section of the Islamic world, which is not. I mean, he has all these thoughts, pretensions of being the leader, the custodian of the Ummah, the Khalifa, and all these things he has. But the government may take its time to officially ban them. But where people here can make a big difference.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you have breaking news also on how they sent their people to pilot the drones.
Yes.
So they were Turkish in Pakistan fighting the war. I want you to tell people.
Turkey's Air Force chief was in Pakistan just a week or 10 days before Operation Sindoor, after the Pahalgam terror attack. So obviously some confabulations took place there as to what would be Pakistani response and how Turkey can help them in case
Did they send their Air Force personnel?
And yes, their chief, the Air Force chief.
Did they send their Air Force personnel to fly the drones?
So there was definitely a Turkish Air Force aircraft, but though it was a cargo aircraft, possibly carrying those same drones which were used by Pakistan. That was just a couple of days before Operation Sindoor, which means obviously when situation was building up, Pakistan thought that let's be armed. And because it was such a short notice, perhaps they were not fully trained, and that's why those Turkish personnel claimed. I have spoken to sources, they say, we are not sure whether they were Turkish army personnel, but they were definitely part of the team that helped Pakistan with those drone swarm attacks, and that's why they happened to be there where they were, where India struck, and the two of them perished.
Therefore, Abhishek, and can I have everyone on, the time has come for us to choose. At times of war, and I believe a time of effective war continues, we must not lower our guard, everyone on. We must not at any point of time lower our guard. We are still in a state of effective war. There are reports that Pakistani transport cargo planes have landed in China. This morning, we got the Xinhua as well as the Chinese Global Times banned and then unbanned. We have information that Turkish personnel were flying the armed drones from the Pakistani side, which means Erdogan sent his people to personally fight the war with India, right? And therefore, we have time. If after all of this, Suhail, you have people going to Turkey to have a good time, then I would call them anti-national. They're working against national interests. Let's be very clear about it. Suhail.
So here's the thing. I would go even further. I wouldn't call them anti-national alone. I would call them pro-terrorism. Because when you sup with the devil, it shows that you have devilish intent even within you. And what kind of a human being are you that you would sell your soul for fleeting moments of holiday or tourism or trade when you have a national crisis on your hands, when you know that the Turks and Turkey has been harboring, promoting, enabling, supporting the kind of terror that Pakistan's DNA is filled with? Why would you do that? The fact that Arnab, you even have to mention it, says and shows that there's something radically wrong with us. We, on the one hand, want our brave hearts to defend us, defend our country, defend our motherland. And on the other, we want to let them down because we want to take a goddamn holiday. What has happened to Indigo Airlines? Why have they not cancelled their code-share agreement with Turkish Airlines? If this gentleman, this young lad from Ease My Trip, can take such a great punt and such, it would hurt his revenues. But he's willing to do that because he believes that the idea of India is more powerful than the idea of money. You can either be a Shylock or you can be a Brutus. You can be noble or you can sell yourselves for a few shillings. My point, Arnab, is that somewhere down the line, the message that you guys are sending, the message needs to be sent that for once stand for your country. But more importantly, stand against terror. Stand against people who kill innocent people. Look at the pictures, look at the visuals that happened the day Pahalgam happened. Those people were also on holiday. They died for no fault of theirs.
Visuals.
They died because there were rascals and rogues supported by Pakistan who came in and killed innocent people because they don't have the courage for genuine military warfare. And you want to support these people? You want to go and give money to the Turks? You want to go to Turkey and enable and embolden their economy? Let me tell you one thing, Arnab. The only thing that pains these rascals is economic pain because they are shameless for the rest of the time. You think Pakistan has any shame left? Never. You think Turkey has any shame? None. They will be hurt when you hurt them economically. India must take a stand of hurting them economically. Someone told me that our trade is about 6 to 10 billion. Does it matter when 1.4 billion lives are under perennial threat because of terror attacks from a rogue country like Pakistan, which is supported, enabled, helped, propelled by Turkey? Is that your level of sacrifice for India? We aren't even asking you to go to the borders to fight wars. We are asking you to take a stand. Is it too much to ask of every single Indian? Is it too much for you to change your goddamn wedding destination from Turkey to a place within our country or to any other country? Narendra Modi talked about "Aao dekho apna desh." We're interested in enabling other countries, the countries which are laced with blood, which have blood on their hands.
That's a
Erdogan,
Turkish drone.
Rightly said, is a despot. He's a dictator. But more importantly, he's a petty, inhuman animal. These are the people you want to go and support, their governments, their economies. It's an absolute shame.
I think people like Karan Johar and Amir Khan should issue declarations that they will never shoot their films in Turkey. Karan Johar needs to put out, in my view. No, you have to do that. If you do, then people should not watch Karan Johar movies.
I'll tell you why.
If Karan Johar should put out a declaration, Sohail, that he will not shoot in Turkey. He will not give the Turkish economy a big boost by shooting films in Turkey. Amir Khan should make it very clear that he's going to stop trying to pretend like a fake Tom Hanks, which he tried to be in Lal Singh Chadda. And then when he went and met Erdogan, was around the same time that Erdogan was making all those pro-Pakistan statements. He's the second biggest supplier of arms to Pakistan. Erdogan has always taken an anti-India line. Erdogan has even opposed our targeting of the terrorists. They have armed Pakistan with drones, and Amir Khan cannot say that he doesn't know that. He knows everything about it, everything about it. The problem in our country is this, that people are looking at everything in terms of personal convenience or business interest.
Absolutely.
Either personal convenience or business interest, or this typical Bollywood group, which was so disappointing this time, so disappointing, Deepak Vora. I mean, they should be really embarrassed to even make films anymore when they have been woefully silent when it mattered. When it mattered, they were woefully silent. And suggestive poetry doesn't work. Mr. Amitabh Bachchan, I expect better from you. You have to take a clear line. Poetry, suggestiveness, metaphorical, personal, anecdotes is not a substitute for taking an anti-Pakistan line. I expect Amitabh Bachchan to take an anti-Pakistan line. I expect Amir Khan to take an anti-Pakistan line, and I expect Shah Rukh Khan and Salman Khan to take an anti-Pakistan, anti-Turkey line unambiguously. Don't give me this rubbish that you are artists. You are knowingly keeping quiet at this point of time, and the people of this country should note it. Note it. Now, Deepak Vora, I want to go into the details of what Turkish position is like. Deepak Vora, to you first, and then to Sanjay Panda, who has been India's former ambassador to Turkey.
Yeah.
I want you to tell our people what Turkey has been up to in as much layman language as possible, and whether this is just a recent escalation of an anti-India position or it's been a long-standing thing. Sir.
Thank you very much, sir. Always a pleasure to be with you. I just heard Mr. Seth speak very strongly against the present wannabe Ottoman Pasha of Turkey, a fellow called Adha Darban or Ard Darban, something like that. It was so right. Sir, may I tell you something? May I remind all the people here that the first genocide of the 20th century was committed by the Turks in 1915-16 against the Armenians. The Armenians are the first Christian country in the world. I served as your ambassador there. The Armenians cordially detest the Turks for what they have done. And to this day, the Turks are very proud of what they did to the Christians. That explains to you. And then this buffoon comes along. He's a hardcore Islamist. They've been supporting Pakistan. All this business about the Khilafat and the Indian Muslims giving money when the Turkish Ottoman Sultan was being thrown out and they wanted to support him. Even Mahatma Gandhi gave a call for supporting the Ottomans. That is all gone by. It happened before Pakistan even existed. But the Turks have this feeling that they have to be the kings of the Islamic world. They will co-opt Pakistan because Pakistan is supposed to have nuclear weapons, which the Turks don't have. They have American nukes on their bases. But they felt that initially they could join with Pakistan and present a very strong Islamic front. You might recall, sir, this cricket player Niazi Saab, who's now in jail, he had suggested on the sidelines of a UN, the annual General Assembly meeting, that Turkey, Malaysia and Pakistan would form a kind of parallel OIC, since the OIC was not speaking too much about Kashmir. And the Saudis just said, don't you dare. That meeting collapsed. Then they wanted to form a Islamic BBC. The question was who would fund it. Nobody had the money. So they've been playing games. They are wanting to show themselves, project themselves as leaders of the Islamic Front. May I conclude, sir, by saying what you had said to boycott Turkish goods. As I was coming to your studio, sir, one of the cabs that your office sent to me, the cab driver tells me, and he asked me in Hindi, sir, ये टर्किश लोगों का दिमाग खराब हो गया, sir, टर्की से कुछ मत खरीदिएगा. Now here's an ordinary person who might say anything, and he's telling, sir, let me just conclude that we are not showing our comprehensive national power, we are demonstrating our comprehensive national willpower, as we did with Maldives.
So for a long time, Abhishek has breaking news coming in. For a long time, unfortunately, there has been in this country a feeling that hard and soft issues should be separated. So the feeling has been that the Pakistanis will keep killing Indians, but we will keep doing ghazal diplomacy. And even with Turkey, there are people who say, oh, we are artists, Amir Khan, we're just meeting.
Liberals. We have woke liberals in this country.
Selfish and woke liberals.
Nothing to lose. Their ecosystem it feeds on each other.
And we need
no nationalism, no commitment.
No. We need. Therefore, what I've said is, I want to mention here, Suhail. By the way, I want you to be a member. We have taken our initiative, Republic. I don't care about it. We are putting our resources, our effort, our money, our time, and our attention to building the nationalist collective in this country. I really believe that there are occasions when the country may not be able to take a political position. It may be difficult to remove Celebi overnight. It may be difficult to ask Indigo Airlines to end its relationship with Turkish Airlines overnight. It may be difficult to end diplomatic ties at an official level with Turkey overnight. But the nationalist collective, ladies and gentlemen, a group of nationalist Indians for which the only qualification is that you're a nationalist and that you're an Indian.
Arnab, I'm asking you, and only you you will have the courage. Have we asked the Foreign Ministry of India, the External Affairs Ministry, have they summoned the Turkish ambassador yet to read out the riot act to that joker? Have we done it? I can take a bet. No. You know why? We believe being soft makes us look elegant. But sometimes kindness is taken for weakness in this world. It's time to be tough without being rude. It's time to be firm without being arrogant.
I have put a WhatsApp number out. I'm trying to build a public momentum. I want to hurt Turkey. I'm asking people to join right now. I'm putting a WhatsApp to Easy on your screen. There's a WhatsApp channel I have launched. You start your messages. You make it go viral. I've made it easy for you to join the Nationalist Collective, put an amount of frenzy into the Ban Turkey movement, let the government do what it wants, tell Indigo Airlines to stop its arrangement, a codeshare agreement with Turkey, tell Celebi to get out of the ground handling. And viewers, please join this platform so we can collectively put the pressure. You can do a lot by being a member of the Nationalist Collective. Now, let's go back to the screen out there. I'll show the phone screen in a while. Abhishek has more news of us taking Operation Sindoor to the UN Security Council. Abhishek.
Well, that's a big one. In fact, as we speak, Arnab, a team of diplomats has landed up in New York and they're going to meet with
This is right now, as we speak tonight. Right now, okay.
Yes. And they're going to meet with the monitoring team of the UNSC 1267 Sanctions Committee, which is essentially the United Nations Security Council Committee, which oversees designation of organizations and individuals as global terrorists.
Yeah.
And we have carried a dossier on TRF, which is essentially a front of Lashkar-e-Taiba, and which means that India's Operation Sindoor is relentless. So we saw the military part of it, where we have completely decimated the terror infrastructure, and we are seeing the diplomatic part of it now, where we are taking the offensive right into the United Nations, where obviously the China-Pakistan nexus has been shielding the designation of TRF as a global terrorist organization, as an offshoot of Lashkar-e-Taiba. Hopefully this time, with the kind of world public opinion we have on our side, it would happen. A team there in New York to brief the monitoring team of the UNSC 1267 Sanctions Committee.
Okay, Cox and Kings director Karan Agarwal is with us. Have you also boycotted Turkey, Karan?
For sure, Arnab. We are there with the nation always. We are a 260-year-old brand. We've practically seen 2 world wars, but nation comes first for us. So we've called up all the people who were traveling to Turkey We've made cancellations free for them. In fact, we've offered them free visas, and we've offered them a lot of alternative destinations where they could travel to. I think we all need to do our bit and stand with the nation at this particular time because of what has happened. And I don't know and I don't understand as to why they've sided with a nation like Pakistan that has practically butchered people who were on a holiday, in fact. Right?
Yeah. No, it's not TRF. Can take the TRF word out because I don't recognize TRF. Abhishek. I'm sure you don't.
Right.
Can you just take that off? It's Lashkar or Lashkar-e-Toiba. Get the terminology right, please. And the question is absolutely clear tonight. You know, I want Sanjay Panda, former ambassador to Turkey, to come in. Viewers, I am asking you to put pressure on Bollywood. What we'll do is we'll take the phone screen and show it. So I need to make sure that the messages of the people, you need to know there are a lot of people joining the Nationalist Collective. And our first movement here in the Nationalist Collective is to put nationalist pressure to ban Turkey. If nationalists come together, we can make a lot of difference. Nationalists come together to ban Turkey. A government will do what it does. The nationalists in this country will take a position only on issues in national interest. Deepak Vora, are you clear? We will not use this influence for personal interest. Deepak Vora?
Absolutely, right? And I'm part of the collective already, sir.
So how do we do this? You know, what would you say to so many people? Right now, 1,500 messages just came in right now. Can the phone screen be shown? Can someone take the phone screen or show the WhatsApp screen and see the kind of messages that people are getting? And I would like to say your first responsibility as members of the Nationalist Collective will be to ban Turkey. Is GD Bakshi joining us tonight? Okay, before that, Sanjay Panda, my question is to you. We can keep taking all the messages on the screen. But Sanjay Panda, what is Turkey's intention against India? Why is it so against India? What is in it for Turkey by taking such an anti-India position?
Well, Arnab, it's very clear. It's a major strategic miscalculation. In Turkey, it's actually the head that rules the heart. I mean, the head is actually in the wrong place. And there's only one man who is at the head who calls the shots. And his shots are in a different direction, which actually the entire country doesn't endorse. Anyway, Turkey's position, I mean, being an all-weather friend of Pakistan, is guided by, you have already mentioned about the desire to be the leader of the Islamic world, I mean, revive the caliphate glory. And that is where Erdogan sees himself. But the point is the entire country is not with him. You know the demonstrations which are going on in Istanbul. Imamoglu, their mayor, he's been arrested, and he was the only one who was posing challenge to him. Anyway, that's a domestic issue. But so far as Turkey is concerned, it is not purely because of love of Pakistan. That is
not the QR, please. Don't
what they're doing, but because of their caliphate desire of the president. Now, I mentioned about strategic miscalculation. So far as India is concerned, it cannot be business as usual, period. It cannot be business as usual. But for the government, so long as we have diplomatic relations and it's in place, for the government, ban Turkey won't work. So I compliment you on this initiative that you have taken, where the people are coming forward and supporting this movement. You're talking about whatever they can do. But there is I feel, let me be the devil's advocate. A ban which actually doesn't hurt them is fraught with danger. For example, 330,000 Indians visiting Turkey last year. Do you know how much of the revenue actually gets into the Turkish economy? Barely 20%. The rest of it, the lira has dipped so low, even the Turkish companies have their dollar accounts abroad. And Indians who are traveling, I mean, they're only 15 to 20%, about 20 to 25%, actually goes into the Turkish economy, not more than that. Now you're talking about Indigo and Turkish Airlines arrangement. Turkish Airlines is not going to lose anything much if Indigo, I'm talking about pure economics. I said I'll be devil's advocate, so do bear with me. It will be Indigo's major loss, okay? Indigo can take that.
No idea.
Now, sorry, just give me a minute. I'm coming to. I know what you are hinting at. Now, what I propose, it's more important to have this economically hurt Turkey. To do that, they are interested in projects in India, infra projects. Now you have Rail Vikas Nigam Limited with a major rail project MOU has been signed. They're Turkish companies. I'm not talking about those who are operating here already, but those who are aspiring for major projects. Now those have to be stopped citing security concerns. They are debarred from participating. That is where you'd really hurt them.
Yeah, but
so we have to have a calibrated approach.
Sir, all this calibration is my problem. You know, the problem, you want to hit them, you hit them.
Partial pregnancy.
You have to hit them, you hit them. This calibration is a waste of time, sir. I say anyone who spends money traveling to Turkey now is an anti-national. You should not do it.
I've not understood.
Yeah,
if I go to Turkey,
agreed. But that's
Bollywood is number one. Bollywood should stop making any movies or shooting in Turkey and make a commitment they do. Why don't you involve viewers? Why don't Nationalist Collective members ask Salman Khan, what is that fellow's name? Shah Rukh Khan and what is the other guy? Amir Khan. To say we will not shoot in Turkey. And why was Amir trying to be a statesman? Was Erdogan giving him free hotel reservations or free flight tickets?
Let me refute Mr.
No, I'm sorry, but this is too much. I can't take it anymore, Sohail. I can't take this calibration anymore. Enough calibration, Sohail. Come on. We keep calibrating, you know.
Diplomat, but this isn't the time for diplomacy. It's for plain speak. Number one. Number two, when you say that 330,000 Indians go there, only 20% of the money goes to the Turkish economy. Where does the balance 80% go? Into the Bosphorus? Obviously, it goes into the Turkish economy, unless they're transit passengers. Number two, please understand that trade, as we have been told, but you would be knowing better since you were the ambassador there, is about $10 billion. Okay, I'm asking a simple question, Mr. Panda. Does $10 billion really matter when you are concerned with national pride, national resolve, and national steadfastness? That's the question you have to answer.
It doesn't.
The next question you have to answer is, should we actually just be kind, nice people saying, okay, come screw us, we'll enjoy it? What nonsense. We have to take a stand.
No. This whole calibration thing, one minute. This whole calibration.
We were taught by Mahatma Gandhi to offer the other cheek.
I'm not in this Gandhian.
Only offering the other cheek.
I, first of all, with the greatest of respect to Mahatma Gandhi, and I hope nobody objects to my saying greatest of respect to Mahatma Gandhi. Mahatma Gandhi did not have a war strategy. So Mahatma Gandhi is not the person who I'm going to follow to when my nation is at war. I'd rather follow the Netaji approach. And GD Bakshi is with us, and General Bakshi, Deepak Vora. We are in a situation tonight, and I'm putting out a first call. Do I have a permission of Deepak Vora and others? The Nationalist Collective puts out a call to ban Turkey. The Nationalist Collective calls upon Bollywood and makers of cinema, whether South Indian, Bollywood, Collywood or anyone, not to shoot in Turkey. And if they're shooting in Turkey, wrap up and come back and shoot anywhere in the world. And don't tell me that Turkey is the only place where you can shoot. And GD Bakshi will tell you why Turkey is so dangerous for India. GD Bakshi, can you tell us that, please, sir?
You know, Arnab, Erdogan has dreams of grandeur. He wants to restore the caliphate to what it was before the First World War. He wants to replace Saudi Arabia as the heart of the Muslim Ummah, right? He wants to intervene in so-called Islamic causes all over the globe. You know, he's taken that takedari. The simple fact is that he is working on very petty commercial interest. His son owns the drone company, which has sold all these trash drones to Pakistan. I'm sorry. Which has sold all these absolute bloody trash drones to Pakistan, whether the Barkatyars or the other funny sounding name that they have used. They fired 350 to 400 on the first day. Every single one got shot down. So if he was looking for a PR exercise to boost sales, it has been a PR disaster of the highest order. You know, it has been laughable.
Yes, sir.
Then Turkey sent a corvette, a naval corvette ship, you know, to Karachi port at the height of the hostilities, etc. And you know what happened? This corvette saw the Indian armada led by the aircraft carrier Vikrant, the battle group with missile destroyers, missile frigates and submarines, advancing menacingly towards Karachi. The corvette fled for its life. It fled, you know, Arnab, it scooted.
Yeah.
It scooted. And it switched off its, you know, that identification system transponder, just so that the Indian Navy wouldn't pick it up and send it to Davy Jones' locker, you know, at the bottom of the Arabian Sea. The way it scurried is amazing. I mean, we were amused, tickled to bits. Not only the Turkish, you know, not only the Turkish corvette, all the Pakistani ships went into the Karachi port, into the harbor, and they switched off their radar transponders. They didn't want to be picked up, detected, and destroyed, because the Indian Navy was coming to them with over 250 BrahMos cruise missiles of the longer range. The ALCMs, air-launched cruise missiles, are shorter range. You know, Arnab, it was amusing. So all the delusions of grandeur, we military men know how they have evaporated, right? How they have evaporated. But that's not all. We will not let Turkey off the hook so soon.
No, sir, the thing is, I'm just reversing the question tonight, and the nature of this conversation this evening, I'm reversing the question tonight. We are often asked, oh, but the government will do it. But when people have their dinner conversations, people say, what can we do? What can we do? What can we do? Well, I call upon all Indians, Sohail, who have invested more than $200 million in Turkey recently in jobs, infrastructure, business development, pharmaceutical, manufacturing, IT and hospitality, to grow the Turkish economy to pull back. I call upon all those who are importing anything from Turkey, including Turkish marble, Turkish apples, or Turkish anything, or Turkish raisins, or Turkish dates, to stop that. We must remember right now Erdogan is representing a thankless nation. And why I'll say this tonight is because when there was a devastating earthquake in southern Turkey in February 2023, India launched Operation Dost. And we were among the first countries to reach the affected areas, showcasing our commitment to global solidarity and humanitarian aid. What did we get? Turkish drone attacks, Sohail. And should I open the phone line? This is, yeah.
By nature, they are an ungrateful bunch. They need to be taught the language of firmness, not the language of kindness and diplomacy. They don't understand that. They're a bunch of jokers. You've got to recognize, and evil to boot. Let me tell you, Arnab, if you think the government is going to take any call or industrialists are going to take any call, no. You do what the average American did to Elon Musk and brought down the value of Tesla by 71%.
But if a Turkish company is handling, a Turkish company is operating and managing 9 major Indian airports. No, Sohail, when you travel through Delhi, who is managing? Who's doing ground operations? It's a Turkish company. Mumbai, Hyderabad.
And I will never fly Turkish Airlines.
No, you may not fly Turkish Airlines, but a Turkish company is operating in 9 major Indian airports. Today, will you allow a Pakistani company to operate ground handling in Mumbai airport? But a Turkish company is doing that.
That's why I'm saying, Arnab,
I call upon the Nationalist Collective, calls upon the Civil Aviation Minister to end that contract. No, I'm just saying, I'm asking on members of the Nationalist Collective, newly minted members, to put pressure so that a Turkish company in these circumstances does not operate. I call upon members of the Nationalist Collective to put pressure on Indigo Airlines to stop their code-sharing agreement with Turkish Airlines. And because we are not willing to make sacrifices, we end up saying, oh, these are minor things, they won't make a difference. Well, every drop adds.
Is minor.
It's a drop in the ocean, but it's a drop. It's not a drought.
Arnab, we can do more.
Arnab, this is ridiculous tonight.
We can do more. Arnab, before I retired, I was at the National Defense Academy, and I had taken a delegation to Greece. Greece and Turkey have been at loggerheads almost close to kinetic combat in Cyprus. The Greeks were requesting me even then, we would like the BrahMos missile. They were requesting that we would like the Pinaka, right? Give it to them, sell it to them. Make good money
listen, Arnab,
and let them give it to the Turks.
No, I just want to, Sohail.
Far better people, they are more relaxed.
Sohail, I'll tell you one thing. We have no friends. Let me first say one thing. Donald Trump is not your friend. Nobody is your friend.
Donald Trump, if Arnab Goswami gives him a KFC burger, he will become a slave of Republic Television. Donald Trump is a deal maker. He's a businessman. He is president by default. It tells you about the collective intellect of the American people. They made that Joker the president of the United States.
So Dr. Mithilesh is calling in. Dr. Mithilesh or Dr. Mithilesh? Mithilesh ji, hi, calling in from Delhi. Mithilesh ji, what do you think about banned Turkey? Are you become a member of the Nationalist Collective yet?
Yes, sir. But first I want to congratulate. Excuse me.
Sir.
Pardon. Sir, first I want to congratulate Indians. And hello.
Yes, sir.
I want to thank all the army personnel, all the defense personnel first.
Yes.
And second thing, just a small suggestion, like what happened in Pahalgam. Do you feel 1 year military training should be compulsory for every Indian?
I'll let General Bakshi take that.
Yes, sir, please. And one small thing. Sir, if a person dies, any army person dies, can't you give some extra
of course. General Bakshi is taking that. Mithilesh,
Yeah. Okay, let me try and tackle that. It was with this thought in mind that we got the Agniveers, right? It was with this thought in mind that a number of students had approached General Narwane that they wanted a 1 year stint or a small stint in the armed forces, and that is what led to the germination of this Agniveer scheme. I think we will have to take another look at it. We don't have
Okay, Jyoti Bhatia is calling in from Mumbai on banned Turkey. Yes, Jyoti Bhatia.
Hi, good evening, Arnab.
Good evening.
I'm a regular caller of your Republic.
Thank you.
Two things, I will not take much of your time. One is proud moment when at 5:55 you said that even if Trump has said ceasefire, I do not believe Pakistani at face value. Congratulations to you.
Thank you.
Second thing, Amir Khan has been talking nonsense on Satyameva Jayate. And he also has mentioned many years back that his wife is not safe in India, so she should go and settle in Turkey. But the irony has happened that his wife has left him and gone. And Mrs. Kiran Rao, please remember, after you've left Amir Khan, you have won maximum awards in Lapata Ladies.
Okay, let me not go personal on that, Jyoti. I want to keep the personal angle out of it, but I get your sentiment on Amir Khan, having that meeting with Erdogan. I'll take one more caller this evening. That's Shruti from Mumbai. Shruti.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Heartiest congratulations to you for uniting India like no one else does.
Are you a member of the Nationalist Collective yet, Shruti?
Absolutely.
Can you just send a WhatsApp, your details, or email, etc.? We'll get back in touch with you. We want to build this as a community. And I want to tell you a few things. Yeah?
Yes, don't be Arvind Kejriwal and build it into a political party.
For God's sake, Sohail, please don't even dream of that comparison. The biggest mistake I have done in my life is to support India against corruption.
Correct.
When I look at retrospect, the people, not the cause. But Shruti was saying something. Shruti, sorry.
Yes, sir. I feel it's not only the Bollywood. There are so many people in the media itself who are loyal to Pakistan and friends of Pakistan. Correct. Shouldn't we take a stronger action against all of them? Because if we speak, it's about democracy and freedom of speech. But the more silent we are, the more this propaganda is increasing.
Absolutely.
So I feel it's nation first, no compromise.
So we have a voice here, Shruti. We'll all be together in this. I thank you all very much. I thank you, Deepak Vorasap. I thank you all. Ladies and gentlemen, ban Turkey or boycott Turkey, but do not stay equidistant. There is no equidistance in times of war. There is no neutrality in times of war. and there is no fake objectivity in times of war. I'll see you tomorrow, without doubt. Good night and goodbye.
Time for a quick breather. Arnab will be right back with the debate.
दादी के हाथों का जादू और खुशबू से महकता घर, माँ की मुस्कुराहट और खाने की सुगंध। MDH गरम मसाला,
क्योंकि हर रिश्ता है स्वाद से जुड़ा।
अब छोलिया हो या लोबिया, सफेद चने या काले चने,
सब कुछ मजेदार बने।
From the Republic Media Network headquarters, it's time for Arnab Goswami on The Debate.